Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius. Today, we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a video game about getting loot, a book about music and magic, and we have a totally awesome guest. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing GW Tolley. Gary is a TV host, author, self-publishing coach, and so much more.
Awesome. Thank you, Tiberius, for having me on your show.
You're welcome.
I'm very excited to be here.
Same. Today we're going to start off with a video of the week, and this is going to be a hoot.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Loot Quest. This game is made by the studio Not Found. Because it is on Roblox, you are able to play it on PC, Mac, Xbox, and even your cell phone. And it is free! This is the only game from Studio Not Found, and yes, that is the name of the studio, run by a guy named Azur.
That's awesome that it's free.
So I get into the game, and you are in a small safe zone with a sword. We see a cell space in a store. There are mobs that you are supposed to defeat, and from them, you get weapons and gems. You can merge weapons to make them stronger. You can sell your gems to get money, and then use that money to buy bigger backpacks to store more gems before having to go back to the cell zone. As you get stronger, you get to go to other locations. There are forest, desert, pirate cove, volcano, and a permafrost. I like the permafrost the best because I get to get the coolest weapons, and the boss is super hard. You can work together with all your friends, and when you defeat a mob, you all share the loot.
That's awesome. I know I'll be calling you.
Also, the best part is when everyone joins the server and they're all in the permafrost, we all just fight the boss. Boop, 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 and they're super weak. And then pow! All share the loot.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. Well, I give Loot Quest 10 out of 10 stars because it's a lot of fun to go after mobs with a lot of people and everyone gets the loot. The weapons all have different stats, and I'm gonna go try to get my dad to play it next. Hopefully you and I want to try it.
That's awesome. We will.
Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855.
And now it's time for the book of the week, The Magic Misfits number 3. This book is written by Neil Patrick Harris. Remember to go back to the book. Theo Steinmeier loves being part of the Magic Misfits. Armed with his trusty violin bow, he completes the team with his levitation skills, unflappable calm, and proper manners. But when a girl named Emily starts to spend time with the group, only she seems to understand the pull Theo feels between music and magic, between family and friends. Dun dun dun! Well, this is an AR book, and it's worth 6 full points. It is rated for 4th grade and 8th month. This is a great book for kids that love magic and getting into trouble, like me. So Theo Steinmeier is a boy that has a family that is really into music. He is very good at music as well. Also, in his dreams, he's flying up out of bed because he could use magic to float. Then one time, he was scared because he saw someone who was not wanted in mineral wells. His name was Galagan. Okay, so this was not good. Then things started to happen with a show from a ventriloquist. Well, everyone was getting a souvenir doll for the show coming up and really took the doll apart, and they found a radio transmitter inside the doll. So then they found out that somehow the ventriloquist did it. Well, should I tell you something more? Well, I can't tell you everything, but it was a good book. I give the Magic Misfits number 3 10 out of 10 stars because it was really cool that they found out that the ventriloquist did something very useful.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom Braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering, to trophies and awards. They can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373.
And now it's time for our interview of an interesting person. Today's test is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing GW Tolley. Gary is a TV host, author, self-publishing coach, and so much more. Okay, so first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
I'm enjoying it. This is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more fun.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I have to ask, your name is GW Tolley, but your friends call you Gary. Where does the GW come from?
So the GW is my first name and my middle name, which is Gary Wayne. And
Cool.
but you know, you don't want to have a book with Gary Wayne on it. GW I think is a little bit cooler.
Yeah, sounds cool. So you are a TV host, an author, and you help people publish books. And you work with people with hearing problems. What's the job that you enjoy the most?
I think working with
Hearing loss? Okay,
yeah. I also work with firefighters, first responders, military, and police.
sweet. So when did you get started working as a TV host?
That was in June of this year.
Cool. Well, when did you decide to become a TV host?
I actually didn't want to be a TV host. I didn't want my picture made, didn't want to be on camera, and it just
Like why not?
because I gained a little weight,
Okay.
so I didn't want to
Makes sense.
be on TV because they say that the TV adds 10 pounds, so I really didn't need 10 more pounds.
Well, does it take a lot of training to be on TV in front of the cameras?
I actually have really good people that help me, and they show me where to sit, where to stand. They do all the lighting and all the cameras
For you?
because there's so many cameras, so many angles, and all the recording and the equipment. So I just normally have to sit, be quiet, and be good.
You don't want to be a bad boy.
Well,
what
then,
is-
then I get cut out.
Oh, yeah. Well, what is the coolest thing that you learned while doing this job?
It's learning people's stories,
Huh.
hearing the things that they've been through, how they've got through it, how they've transitioned, and how their stories help other people.
Sweet. Well, which of your jobs is the hardest to do, and why?
I think it's doing the audio books because when you're sitting in the container, that's the easiest way to call it. There's no air conditioning. It's very hot. You have all the lights on.
That
It
is true.
cooks it up, and you're trying to focus and watch how you speak. So that's a hard one.
Well, what is the best part about working in the self-publishing business?
What I like about doing that is if people want to share their story with the world, if they want to put it in a book form, if they want to do a children's book, if they want to do an audio book, or however they want to do it, it's hearing people's story and watching them grow, because I was 95% hearing impaired as a child. So English, spelling, grammar, punctuation, I failed all the way through.
Because you couldn't hear.
Because I couldn't hear. So now I'm working on book 14. So you just have to get past the challenges in what you do.
Wow. Well, what exactly is self-publishing, and why do people want to do that?
When you self-publish, you're doing it all yourself. So that way you're in control of everything, from your book cover, from what you put into it, and also how you want to put it out into the world.
Okay.
So you want to do that way, because then that way no one has control and they don't have the rights to all your stuff.
Okay.
And you make more money.
Okay.
So isn't that important? Okay.
Well,
Put it into your pockets.
well, how long does it take to make a good book?
Well, it depends on if you're doing a children's book, which
Or
has
an adult's.
an adult book. So depends on how much graphic design and artwork that's in there. Now the Sasha book, it took a lot of hours because that's all graphic design.
Oh yeah. Just like did you go on computer and print it?
So that's normally what I'll do is print it out
Okay.
and read over it, and I have my friends read over it too.
I don't.
And I'll give you a tip. So once you finish with your book, you read it in reverse. Because that way, if there's something misspelled, you're going to catch it. So you're not thinking about reading it forward and you miss words and you add words. So when you read it backwards, so if you put in there like T-O, or and, or A, which sometimes happens.
Yeah.
Because it's not misspelled,
Like A.
but you'll catch it.
Well, is publishing a book yourself faster than using a traditional publisher?
When you use a traditional publisher, you actually have more people. They have more people on staff.
So it takes a bit.
So that's why I've written the book, Self-Publishing 2021. It teaches you everything you need to know from start to finish and how to do it yourself.
Okay.
And that way it
Sweet.
brings, instead of having all the people, because they have to be paid.
Oh yeah.
So if you have a book and it tells you all the shortcuts, then you know how to do it.
Where do you get the ideas of what to write about?
All of my stories are from my experiences, and it's the things that I've been through in my life. And some of those are kind of harsh.
So on the TV show, do you have a full studio and set, or do you use cell phones like I do?
We actually have we have 3 cameras,
Okay.
and one of them is Netflix approved. So that's whatever we film can go directly to Netflix.
Okay.
So just that camera alone is around $4,000. So I don't touch it. So I have people that run all the different cameras. They run all the different microphones because we have lapel microphones. We have microphones that
Those microphones
all
that
the
I have on
microphones.
TV.
Yeah. So we actually have the boom mics, and we have the equipment that
We have
sits
those
and records.
as well, just in case might be for display, but if these go out, then you might want to use that.
That way, because sometimes if the air conditioning cuts on
And
or echoes or something like that, and it's
then they just turn those off.
everything's turned off.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize. It gets rather warm as you're recording, and
We feel that as well.
we feel that as well.
Well, what is your TV show about?
The show is called What's Your Story? And so when I sit down with someone, they share the things that they've been through in their life.
Okay.
They tell me how it transitioned,
Okay.
basically from bad to good, and then how they're helping other people. Because it's all about when you get through the situations, you share how you did it and where you're at. Because if you can help somebody else, that's what it's all about.
Well, what is that one episode that you're most proud of?
Let me see. I would say, well, they're all good. So it's hard to pick 2 favorites. But I will say the last one that we just finished was about a man that had been in prison, and he had done all kinds of things, and just to watch his life turn around, and now he has 3 children and a family. Yeah.
How did it get off? Well, what is that one thing that you want my listeners to know about what it is like to be doing so many jobs?
So many jobs, you have to be focused. So you have a lot of hats. So I have to be very organized.
Have a lot of things just in case
There's
one
a-
goes
there's-
wrong, like if you spill something on it.
Yeah. You always keep spills away from everything.
Yeah, we have that in the other room.
So it's being very organized because it's and I have to remember which job I'm doing. And so if I'm going from writing the book to the audio book to the TV show and the self-publishing, it's all just keeping it very organized. Because sometimes I forget,
Oh, yeah.
and I'll say instead of what's your story, I'll say write it out, because the write it out is the self-publishing. So
Okay. Well, what's the hardest part about being on TV?
well, that would be trying to make me look skinny, and they said they don't have magic lenses, so
You don't have like the ability to like
To shrink me.
Yeah, like
Nah.
shrink you a bit, like
But I think the one
make you
thing
like
is
1 pound.
is setting in place and not moving, being still, and also remembering which camera to look into, and most time not looking at the camera. You want to be looking at your guest.
1 pound is like yeah. Well, if you could think of one thing that would make your job easier, what would it be?
That's a good question. I think if I had an assistant
That would be nice.
that would try to.
I don't have one of those.
I don't have one of those
I don't
either.
have a co-host. Just in case I like fall down, just make them do it. My dad said that you worked with people with hearing issues. Why was that important to you?
Well, as a child, I was 95% hearing impaired, and they had to do emergency surgery my second year of high school, and that fixed the issue. So, but then in February, I had an instance when I woke up, I couldn't hear. So that brought me back to the memories of where I couldn't hear. So, and I can't read lips if everybody's wearing a mask. So
That is true, so it must be hard for deaf people.
yeah, and so going
They
through
would have to like have an app on their phones and they would just like
so
like
going through a
camera person.
pandemic, it scared
And
them.
they just look at it. Look over.
Yeah.
Like
So,
that.
so going through that when you don't know what's going on, it made it a little more difficult. So that's why I wanted to bring the awareness back to it and show that even though I had failed English spelling and grammar and punctuation,
Must have stayed in like 1 grade for a long time.
it seemed like forever. So it
Like
so it
college
seems
all over
like
again.
yeah.
College, but in just 1 grade.
So I wanted to show people that even though they think they don't have the skills, that there's programs out there that help you with the English, the spelling, and the grammar. You can't let that limit you to getting your story out of whatever you're doing.
Well, what is-
purpose.
Well, what is the craziest situation that you've run into while doing your work?
Let me see. So the other night, while we were on a prayer call, the police showed up. And someone had reported that the church doors were open. And they come and they were asking the people inside what they were doing. And so that was very unusual. So that was,
That's scary.
hey, but we got through it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that is
Like,
different. You don't hear that very often, do you?
What? Like, who left the doors open? Exactly. Well, what was the first job that you ever had?
The very first job, I used to mow yards. I used
that's
to
good.
deliver the paper. I used to clean cars. This was when I was real young. So I would go downtown. I had a bucket, and I would ask the shop owners if I could wash their windows.
Well, was there anything you learned from that job that helped you be a better TV host?
I think what all that taught me was you have to work hard if you want to go further in life. You can't wait for things to be handed to you. So also integrity of doing things the right way and doing a good job. Because if you're happy with it and you've done the best that you can do, then that's everything else will go pretty smoothly.
Okay. Well, who helped motivate or inspire you the most in following your dreams?
Ooh, let me see. That would probably be my mom, because she would always tell me, she would work with me with flashcards.
That's good.
And so she would tell me, you're smart, you can do anything that you put your mind to.
That's what my dad says to me. What advice would you give my listeners if they wanted to grow up and be a TV host?
Okay, so if you want to do that, you find good people to interview where they have interesting things to talk about, situations that's current and relevant that that they can talk about, and something that's
For like a long time.
that's something that's very interesting that everybody else has questions about, because doing your own show just like you do, like I said, you were my favorite one that I wanted to do.
Probably 'cause I'm a bit younger and I'm a bit cuter. So yeah.
Well, plus it's not so scripted where working in one
Like
flat line. Yeah. It's a lot more fun.
Oh yeah. Well, if you're gonna go back 10 years and tell yourself something, what would it be?
Let me see. It would probably be never give up.
Okay.
And
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
don't eat as many donuts. So that would be the thing is just always keep going, because I have a folder of failures. That's just from the audiobook. Every time I would submit it, it would say fail, fail, fail. And so as I did this on both sides, and every page front and back, it became a huge folder, and I just kept failing. But there was the one day, well, it didn't like the way it was uploaded,
Like uploaded in like red.
or the sounds that it picks up, or however it was.
Like how you said it.
Well, it was when you're doing recordings, it can have different types of noises and feedback.
That is true.
And it had to be.
Because you don't know where you are.
Yeah.
Like you don't know the noises that it can actually hear.
Yeah.
Like you can hear like anything, but
Yeah.
Just make one of the computers.
Because it could even hear the trash truck going down the road. It could
Oh,
hear
yeah.
someone mowing. Things that you normally wouldn't
I mean,
think
mowing
about.
is kind of loud.
Yeah.
I mean, these mics can like hear someone like driving around, but are like really slow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's where there would. I had to learn the program in order
And
to.
see where should I go to make it like not hear as much.
Yeah. And how to
Like, on
tweak
the other
it.
side of the world, you just don't hear anything. Just go take.
I was on a lot of
flight.
YouTube. I went to YouTube University.
Aw, nice. Well, what was the biggest mistake you ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Let me see. I think as I went through, I had identity theft. Someone had got into my checking, my savings, my credit cards. And so I think it's having some type of identity theft protection, watching my bank accounts and passwords and different things, being a little more secure on things like that.
Well, when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
I like to go to the beach and just chill.
Big,
And
just like
but-
chill.
but you see I'm kind of pale, so I have an umbrella and
Don't worry, I know that. I get sunburns all.
yeah. So I have
It's
my
just like
chair,
that.
my umbrella, have my snacks.
My mom goes a little bit over here because my pants don't stay on really well. I'll just give you that. Well, do you play video games? And if you do, what's your favorite one?
Let me see. Well, I grew up with the old Atari.
The Atari?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me see. There was
Pac-Man,
Pac-Man. There was Asteroids.
Mrs. Pac-Man.
Mrs. Pac-Man. That came a little bit later.
Yeah.
Gallagher.
Galaga.
I like Gallagher. I like the driving ones too,
Oh yeah.
because that's kind of like
I
driving.
mean, now they have like driving simulators and VR and stuff.
Yeah.
So they sit you down, they put a driving wheel in front of you. It's a big screen.
It's like driving in Orlando.
Yeah. They have like driving races and stuff. Like there's like 16 of them, and then you just have other people with you. They just all do it.
But the thing is, if you crash in Orlando traffic, you're crashed. But on those, you can run over people
Oh yeah.
and that's just
Like
kind of
zombies.
it doesn't affect your insurance rate.
Well, okay. So what is your favorite book to read?
My favorite book to read. See, I like to learn, but the thing is, I only like to learn what I like to learn. So when it comes to like computer programs, I normally don't like to learn that. But what has been really interesting me is because I went to Israel in August of 2019. So I got to walk through basically like the Living Bible. So I like reading the Bible, and I would have never said that before.
Oh.
But it's really cool because you learn different things. And
Oh yeah. Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
Let me see. I would say about me. Let me see. I would say just what's really not about me. I think it's about them. I think it's just
Smart.
really learn
That's what Jesus does.
and awesome.
They give to others.
Yes, and that's awesome.
It's just like there's like new shoes and stuff,
Yeah.
and they have like the little not good ones.
Mm-hmm.
They just give the new ones to them. If they're like trading or stuff, then they have nothing. They just give them the new stuff, and you keep the old stuff.
So one thing that you might not know about me is I have Kanana Ministries, which is Hebrew for grace. So I work with foster children that have aged out of foster care. And also I work with homeless people.
Nice.
So we did that last night. So actually I partner with, it's called Hope Apopka. And so they cook food for everyone. They have a food pantry and they have clothes. So Wekiva High School students were there last night helping with that. So
it's cool.
It's really neat because you get to see, it changes your perspective on things that maybe you think about yourself. And when you see someone else that's less fortunate, that maybe not even have anything to eat or anything to wear, it changes your perspective on your wants and your needs.
Well, do you have a Facebook for my listeners, someone to follow you?
I do. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
That is GW Tolley.
Is that in one word?
Yep,
The GW?
just GW.
Okay.
And then Tolley. Tolley. So you can find me under GW Tolley.
It's like a trolley, but without the R.
Yeah. Or Golly, but with a T.
Yeah.
Or under Productions by Faith.
Yep.
So that's the website on that is www.productionsbyfaith.com.
Nice. No forward slashes or anything?
No,
Okay.
those confuse me. If it's forward or backward or the dots.
Yeah, forward or backwards. It feels like put them together. X. Well, what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
Let me see. Where do you think you'll see yourself in social media next? I'm going to flip it around.
TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. Okay.
Or some other platform that I don't know about that
Clapper.
I'm not allowed to use.
Clapper.
Yeah.
And you know, on Clapper, you had received 211 views within just a few minutes. So you're out every which direction.
Oh my gosh. I wonder how many views that video has now.
I don't know.
Probably like a lot.
After this interview, I think you're going to have a whole bunch.
Well, thank you so much, GW, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
I can.
Sweet.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Thank you so much, GW, for helping me with Math Corners. Are you ready for some math problems?
We'll see.
Well, today we're going to talk about adding fractions with unlike denominators. So I have been doing my IXL.com math exercises, and we got into a number of problems that have to do with fractions. In order to work with unlike denominators, we have to find a way to make them the same. This can be done by multiplying or dividing by 1 for a fraction with the same numerator and denominator. So let's say you have 3 over 6 and 6 over 12. So you have to break down the fractions to be like denominators. So if you take 6 over 12 and divide it by 2 over 2, that makes it 3 over 6, and that means you can now add these two fractions together. So 3 plus 3 is 6, so 3 over 6 plus 3 over 6 equals 6 over 6, which equals 1. Does that make any sense?
Is that kind of like you have 3 donuts and I have 6?
No. Like, let's say I have like 3/6 of a donut, and you have 3/6 of a donut. That means you just add them up, 1. Or 6 over 6.
So who gets the donut, me or you?
We share.
Oh,
Half and half.
I like
Or you can just like simplify them both down to a half and just add them. Yeah. It's much easier. Now, not all fractions can be divided to get there. Sometimes you have to multiply. Let's say you have 1 over 3 plus 1 over 4. Do you already know the answer?
No.
I'm guessing not. Well, this is harder, but it can still be done. you can take the 1 over 3 and times it by 4 over 4, which gives you 4 over 12. Then you can take the 1 over 4 and times it by 3 over 3, which gives you 3 over 12. So now you can add the 4 over 12 and the 3 over 12, which gives you 7 over 12. And that cannot be simplified. So Gary, do you now know all about how to work with fractions with unlike denominators?
I do, because the donuts made it easier.
Oh, but... Well, thank you so much, GW, for helping me with Math Corners.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Bumps, give me bumps. And now it's time for the heart of a lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we're going to talk about nobility. For me, I think nobility is remembering we are God's special possessions and acting in a noble way, showing courage and honor. The qualities of nobility are goodness, virtue, honor, generosity, and selflessness. I have seen nobility in my dad. See, he has been helping me with my show for a number of years now, and he helps guide me with the scripts. But he also has to help find guests and fix any technical issues with the mixers and the microphones, and run his computer company at the same time. This is very selfless and generous of his time. Now some say, well, he's your dad, and he's supposed to do all of this stuff. But not all dads do the crazy stuff that my dad does. So today, I just wanted to say, thanks, Dad. And I truly mean it. So GW, did you see or use nobility at all this week?
I did. And that's where we tape the show.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where it's always talking about other people. And the same thing with feeding the homeless last night. It's It always is very cool. So it's cool that your dad helps you, because with the team that's around me, they make my job seem easy.
Well,
Does a lot.
of the heart of a lion virtues, which is your favorite?
I actually liked all of them, because it takes all of them to
be lion strong.
be lion strong.
And this is basically like a way of life.
Mhm.
People think this is a way of life.
Yeah.
Dad wishes that there was an H, though, for humility.
Oh. Well, you know, I was very impressed with you because you were humble.
Oh, yeah.
And when you won that award, that's the one thing that I really liked, because you thought that you weren't a hero in the things of everybody else of
I'm
what
not
they
really
were doing.
a hero. I'm saying that.
Well, but in a sense you are, because you share other
I
people's
mean,
stories.
I don't know about that, but...
We all have purpose, and we all have things in our life that we do. And I admired that about you, because you admitted that. You didn't try to pretend you were somebody that you weren't.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Well, we should always try and be lion strong in everything we do.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we?
That's why I wanted to be on your show.
See Tiberius Smith Law.com.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help people.
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
That website again is cwsmithlaw.com.
Offices, Orlando.
Does it actually have that much W's?
And that's the show, folks. I'm gonna thank the amazing GW Tolley for being on my show.
Thank you for the invite.
You're welcome.
I like your high energy. It's awesome.
It's been so much fun talking with you today, and I hope in the future to review one of your books.
That'll be awesome. I will send you the Sasha Healings and Miracles book and let you review that. It's short and sweet.
Oh, okay. Also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show, and please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and subscribe. Also, be sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy!
The Tiberius Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Executive producer Joseph Boy, production editor Pierre Laguerre, Green Room manager Danny Boy, and your program host Tiberius Boy. The Tiberius Show is copyright 2018.